Hello children, welcome back to the s- second lecture of chapter number 16. In the previous lecture we had seen about the new economic policy that was implemented into India. We also saw about what is economic liberalization. We discussed the definition of economic liberalization, and we also discussed what were the advantages and disadvantages of economic liberalization. Now we are going to study about the other two factors, that is globalization and privatization, into this particular video. So let us start without getting any late. See, privatization. Now what is privatization? We have already seen that before independence after independence of India, the the role of private companies the role of private companies was very less in economy was very less in economy. Now after the new economic policy, okay, this role was increased, this role started increasing. Say privatization, let us see. Privatization means the process in which ownership and management of industries unit and state control is handed over or transferred to private sector is called privatization. Now what happened? Now before going into it, you need to understand a term called sick unit. Now what is sick unit? So basically sick unit is a type of government company that is making losses. Okay, now why government companies are making losses? You might have seen, like suppose you want to travel to say Ahmedabad, then what if would you prefer? Would you go into a ST bus or would you go into a travels or luxury bus? Most of you will say that you will go into a travel bus. Why? Now the main reason is travel bus are cleaner. Okay, there are pushback seats into it, AC, everything is there. Okay, you have a television into it, everything. But at the same time I would say that the charges for the travels is almost double is almost double in comparison almost double in comparison to the government companies or to the ST buses. But you might have seen many a times ST buses, even if there are very less passengers, they are still traveling, they are still going on, and due to that ST is going into a loss, ST is making a loss. Okay, but the private or the travels will not move. Like suppose just imagine you have booked the ticket into say one of the travels at 2 o'clock, but say there are few passengers into it, then the travel company will call you and say that as the bus has been cancelled, so you can either take a refund or we will shift your ticket into the next bus that is going at 4 o'clock. They will not move their bus if they don't get a profit, and due to this the private companies are usually into profit, okay, while government companies are usually into loss. So after 1991, what was decided that those government companies which are sick unit, which are not making profit, should be given to private companies. Private companies will manage those sick unit, those government companies, and start making profit out of it. So this is basically, you can say, privatization. Okay, the transferring or handing over the control to private sector. This is considered as privatization. See, what is the method? Firstly, those areas which are reserved for public sector are open, as we have already seen. There are certain areas which were reserved only for public sector, but now private ownership are also allowed into it. Previously, as I told you, mineral oils. Okay, so you might have seen. Okay, you might have seen that the government petrol pumps are there. Government petrol pumps are there. Okay, government petrol pumps are there, which are okay, but at the same time you might also see now that private petrol pumps are also working. Okay, so previously it was not allowed, but after 1991 this sector, this is just an example, this sector of petroleum was open for private also. Okay, so certain areas which are reserved for public are now open for private also. Second, state keeps the ownership of the state-owned companies under its control and gives the charge of the management to private companies, or state keep management in own hand and give ownership. Okay, in certain areas, what does government do? Suppose there is a company called A. Then what does the government do? Government keeps control of that into its hand, and but the management is given to a private company. Okay, and due to this what will happen is this company will start making profit, and in exchange government will pay a certain amount which is decided to the private company for management. So this is one of the method due to which the sick units can be converted into a profit making units. Next is advantage of privatization. What are the advantage of privatization? Okay, as I now we understood what is privatization. Entering of or giving of private companies, entering of private companies into public sector is considered as the privatization. Okay, so now what are the advantages of privatization? See, there is an increase in number of production units in industrial sector. Okay, due to this privatization the number of production unit increased. Okay, the production also increased due to good management, due to good management the industries and the production also increased. Second, production is increased in capital. Say production also increased in capital intensive and consumable commodities due to privatization. Capital intensive. Okay, capital intensive are such kind of industries which need a lot of money, a lot of capital. Actually, capital is the term used for money in economics. Okay, it needs a lot of capital. So such kind of big industries are called, large industries are called capital intensive industry. And second are consumable commodities. Consumable commodities are things used in day to day life, things used in day to day life. So those kinds of industries are also now owned by the private companies. Okay, third, the working capacity of public sector has improved due to privatization of public sector enterprise. Okay, the working capacity means the turnover. The turnover is the production which is made by the companies is also increased due to private management. Okay, as private management have made lot of changes into the management strategies, and due to that the turnover, the working capacity or the production also increased of the public sector units. You might take example of our railways. Okay, our our Indian railways, okay, are one of the largest railways in the world, but they were making losses continuously from decades. Okay, but after the implementation of new economic policy in 1991, railways where a certain part of railway, okay, not complete, but a certain part of railway is also given to private ownership. Okay, or it is given to private handling, and due to that now railways are making profit. Now they are a profitable unit for the government. Now as there are as there are advantages, same way there are disadvantages too. There are disadvantages of privatization also. Economic power has centralized as a result of privatization. Economic power centralized as privatization increase. So economic power means money is centralized, is okay going at one place only, right, into the private companies, because of which evil of monopoly has increased. Due to this economic, due to privatization, the evil of monopoly have increased. Monopoly, as I already told you, that when a company or a person is producing things exclusively, it is termed as monopoly. You cannot get those things at other places, and the due to this the monopoly, the will of monopoly have come. Okay, and whenever there is monopoly, wherever there is monopoly, there is exploitation of the consumers. Okay, second, cottage industry have not developed. Cottage means the small scale industry, the industry which are usually carried out at homes. Cottage industry and handicraft industry did not develop properly due to privatization. Why? Because privatization or private companies are more interested in profit. Okay, they are more interested in profit, and there is very less profit into cottage industries. Only large scale industries have been benefited. See, large and huge industries were benefited due to it. Third, prices have not remained under control. See, price, as I told you, there is monopoly, and when there is monopoly, there is always a price rise. So prices have not been under control. Due to prices, this led to problem of price rise. Okay, price rise have continuously increased up. Okay, so these are some of the disadvantages of privatization. These are disadvantages of privatization, right? Economic power centralized. Second, cottage industry not developed, and third is prices are prices are not under control, and due to that there is price rise. Third is globalization. Globalization is the process of connecting one country economy with the economy of other nation. As a result, flow of goods, services, technology and labor is easily available in the world. Okay, now this is definition. Globali Globalization is the process of connecting one with the other, and due to that, okay, right now example, simple example is, right now you can sit here, okay, you can on your laptop you can order things from all over the world, and that is due to globalization. If globalization wouldn't have been implemented, then you wouldn't have been able to order all these things, and you all the technology that you are using, okay, even the phones that you are using or laptops which are using to view this video would have not been possible, right? So globalization is a very great thing for the development of the economy. Next, obstacle of trade between two nations have been removed. Okay, due to globalization, the obstacle between trade, okay, was removed. Next, such a condition have been created so that capital exchange, money exchange, can easily be take place between two nations. Usually, the money exchange is done into dollars. Okay, at international it is done into dollars. Obstacle in the way of exchange of technology have been removed. See, exchange of technology. Okay, there is certain technology which is developed by a country, then we can get those technology. Okay, free exchange of labor. See, laborers also are in, you might see a lot of Indian people are working in foreign countries. They are working in two ways: physical labor and mental labor. So they are working into many countries, and that is all due to globalization. Many of them are among different nations. What are the effects? Say, mixed effect of globalization have been seen into economy into India. So India mixed effect. What are the advantages? Foreign direct investment, or FDI. FDI is a short form, is encouraged due to it. FDI means investment by a foreign company into India. Okay, the best example you can see is recently the Samsung, which is a Korean brand, have established the world's biggest company manufacturing plant in India. So that is due to FDI. Goods produced in developed countries can easily be obtained due to globalization. As I told you, goods produced in developed countries are also available, and that is all due to globalization. Developing countries like India can withstand competition at international level. Say, India is a developing country, okay, but as due to globalization, it also get the same technology which are used into the developed countries, and that's why it can withstand, it can face the competition at international level due to it. Now disadvantages. Expected success has not been attained in finding solution of the problem of poverty. See, the problem of poverty is still existing into India. Poverty is one of the biggest problem that India is facing, and unemployment due to globalization. Okay, due to this globalization, there is also unemployment, as most of the foreign companies try to employ their own people into their companies, and that's why the problem of unemployment is also one of the biggest problem that India is facing. Developing countries have not acquired proper benefit of increase in export, which should have okay, as we have not, okay, we are not exporting a lot of things to other countries, and due to that our, okay, foreign reserve, okay, foreign exchange reserve, foreign reserve is getting depleted or is getting decreased. Okay. Next, large scale industries have acquired more benefit while small scale industries obtain less. See, as I already told you, large scale industries acquire more benefit in comparison to small scale industries. Large scale industry means large industries, okay, or the capital intensive industries acquire more benefit in comparison to small scale industries. Okay, so we saw this, the privatization, advantage and disadvantages, globalization, advantages and disadvantages into this part of the chapter.